lush green fields of the Philippines, rolling through tropical village scenes. New friends made along the way, sharing stories at the break of day.
Hello and welcome to Arizona Trails, the Philippine Tales. My name is Steve and welcome to week number 89 of the Philippine house build. But before we get into that, I just want to take a moment and say congratulations to those that had created the biggest theft in modern time over there in the federal government of the United States of America. Apparently, $3.1 trillion was stolen or liquidated, and that money is going to be used for something. Apparently, before Trump actually gave his announcement of the 100% tariffs against China, of course, there was some insider knowledge that did take place, and of course, most banks and platforms were notified of this, and if they wasn't notified, a DDoS attack or denial of service attack was put on those platforms to prevent other traders from buying that as the prices went down across the markets, both in stocks, commodities, and crypto. They couldn't buy back in at those lower prices. So you guys did a great job. It was unbelievable. I was actually live when it happened. Within 30 to 40 minutes, $3.1 trillion. And let's give a special shout out to that one wallet that was identified as Bitcoin OG that actually had $27 million of his own money invested, took out $1.1 billion in leveraged shorts, and walked away with $130 million in profit. Wow, that was awesome. So now, for those that are not in the trading world, this will affect you. So if prices weren't expensive before, a $3.1 trillion liquidation in the market, we're talking NASDAQ, S&P 500, that will affect prices. So again, congratulations, somebody in the federal government that knew what was taking place. You guys did a great coordination, primo. All right, so now if you find that your money doesn't buy what it used to be, or you're surrounded by idiotic, poor, communist people, teachers, judges, government officials, of course, the crusades are still going on because jihad has always been going on. But again, you're too old to do anything about it, and you just want to live life and enjoy, well, by all means, go somewhere. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Philippines, but go to a place that treats both you and your money well. Here is Tinfoil Hat to Retirement.
Put your tinfoil hat on tight, it's Portland tonight, where the commie kings rule with red delight. Chicago's got blue lights, but they ain't for peace. It's the people's police, with marks on the lease. New York's got a new code of prayer. Kamala's sipping Jose's despair. Nancy's dancing with a drink in hand, while Hakeem's card declines on demand. Halloween's coming, grab your Hakeem mask. Dems need votes, so they're up to the task. Big Mike's flexing, Chuck's on the grill. Tim Wall stands firm while the bank stands still. LA's burning, was it nature or a grab? Dollar store Obama's got a stimulus slab. Illegal aliens modeling for Dem 13. XRP Jedi Masters update the machine. The banking charter's in, the system's a wreck. IMF's wanting liquidity check. 3.1 trillion vanished in a blink. Now you pay it back every time you drink. Never gonna give you up, Chuck seems to flare, while corrupt judges rule from a velvet chair. Rich white folks blame, but who's really in charge? UK builds mosque, arrests prayers at large. Drugs in the youth, Disney's cash grab. Dollars down 10%, economy's drab. Communists protect the comrades tight, and again those judges dim the light. Tried buying the dip, but the bot said no. DUS and collusion stole the show. Will it be Black Monday or Tuesday's fall? 1925 deja vu for all. Let's kick off the Black Swan flight. Be afraid of margin, hold gold tight. Let's tax AI, make America great, while you keep paying tax is on every plate. So grab your sombreros, your satire sword. This is what Republicans can afford. Evil spelled out, the headlines scream, but hey, it's just another American dream.
All right, that was Tinfoil Hat to Retirement. Now, I just wanted to go over some things for today. Like last week, I was talking about how we had kept some people on. This was our first week where we took over and paid all the workers, and we're still getting help from the main engineer that we had. Some of the piping's been brought in for the drainage system. So the drainage system is being worked on. Our staircase is being worked on. However, little did I know that our person that we have that's actually the welder, he had actually gone home a couple of weeks ago because that was the time we had the typhoon and his house had flooded, so he went home to repair that. And then, of course, we had the earthquake after that. And guess what? We had another earthquake here. Not as bad as the first one, but we did feel some tremors. Matter of fact, our painter was hanging on some scaffolding as the shaking was going on, and he got down pretty quickly after that. So now, some of the things that was brought up, and I got a welding story to tell, but I just wanted to let you know that when you do a weld, usually when you do these welds or you put on pieces, you try to make it look like all the same piece. So usually what happens is you do the weld and you scrape it, or you sand it down to where the metal is all one piece. I mean, that's how you do this welding. I mean, you can always see welding spots, but you do the weld and then you sand it down so it doesn't appear. Now, some places, like you can see a place where it's missed right there, so you have a little bit of silver right there. And if you go back to last week's video, and I was talking about how the welder did these door latches on the door. Well, this welder was a different welder, somebody that I wasn't familiar with. And if you go back in last week's video, you're going to see that all the welds that he did on this door was nice and thick and silver, almost like melted silver. Well, that wasn't sanded down. Well, this week we got it sanded down to where it wasn't so thick, and that's the way it was supposed to be. But the story of this welder is that this welder came by and he said that he would do a thing called Pacquiao. Now, Pacquiao out here, sort of like Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao is where I'll do the whole job for you for this particular price. So he comes back out and he says, well, he wants to continue, our bars that are going to go sideways on this door frame. He said that he wanted to do that job, and then he goes to my wife, Flory. He says, you're going to have to buy the welding rod and welding material and the machine for the welding. Well, we were like, okay, wait a minute. You're a welder but don't have your own equipment? So we said, okay. So he went and left. And, I would say no more than 10 minutes after we decided to use them, we said no, we didn't want to. Well, apparently he called us back and said that, I already bought the welding equipment. Now, that's impossible here. Anytime you go to buy anything here in the Philippines, it takes an hour or more to just try and get that stuff. You got to stand in line, or they might be out of something. They're not just going to go buy something within the first 10 minutes of leaving the location. So my wife was still generous and said, okay, bring us back the receipt and we'll go ahead and refund you what you had to pay for your equipment. Okay, well, the guy then just says, oh, don't worry about it, which means that he didn't go out and buy it. But we were more than willing to pay him back and refund him any money that he did. So that's something that you'll find out here in the Philippines. Like I said, there's people out here that have great skill sets at what they do, which is really a good thing. However, sometimes they don't have the equipment to do what they're good at. So this person could be a good person that can weld, except other than the fact that he didn't sand down any of his welds. that's what why we decided not to use the person. I mean, he probably does it, but he doesn't have his own equipment. So that's something that you find out here sometimes. Is people are skilled, but they don't have their own equipment, and you have to pay for that additional amount. All right, so that's our welding story. That's our earthquake story. Again, like I said, we had another earthquake, and that's where we are on the welding process. So, but now if you're looking at our wall now, so we did finally raise our wall up a little bit just to match the end here of the door, and then of course we'll have the bars that go horizontal across, and then that has been done all the way down here. If you look right here at the walls, they are all nice and concreted now on this side, which is very good. That's what we wanted. The columns are still being worked on, so that is good. Let me step outside here. All right, so if you look at the front there, all right, everything has been rendered on the front and our columns. Pretty soon we'll be putting the top on that portion right there. All right, now we still need some garage painting to be done, but right now I think our painter is doing the sides and everything. So let me walk over here for the painting. Oh, all right. So all the painting has been done on this side. We've also laid some stone down. It's still a little bit muddy. This pipe right here, this white piping, was brought in for water. So we have a couple of different water pipes. This small water right here is the sort of the garden hose, and then this is the actual main line of water. Now this one is better than that black hose that I showed before. So the black hose before actually would leak, or that's what you see out here in the neighborhood, but this white one should last a little bit longer than the black. And so see, we have a gray finish on the bottom here. That's just to prevent splash up, and it's still going to get dirty over time. You can see up here that everything is colored gray, and so that's the painting, which is good. And then this is the back part here. Get, like I said, a lot of piping materials for the drainage. Let's see here. So they do have a little table out here, and all that orange piping for the drainage. So they are still working on that drainage, and it does look like, if you do look over here, looks like they did finish that drainage out to the wall that had the hole in it before, back there in the back. So that is good. I'm going to walk around. Let's see if I can go this way. I know it was a little muddy. So yeah, so see, they did finish the drainage out to that wall right there. So we do have plenty of drainage piping. Oh, and it looks like, see, they do have the drainage right here now installed, so that's good. So got more plants, our moringa plant, and then let's see what else. We also got another, our neighbor gave us this tree right here. So we got some more trees that are coming up. And they are working on the drainage right here, so good, see? Things are still being done, even though we have sort of taken over and got workers coming in. It's sort of nice because we do have some of the original engineers that was here before. So we do have our electrician engineer, but he's helping with the welding because our main welder had gone back home, all the way back when the typhoon went through to take care of his land there. So the electrician engineer that we had is working on welding, and also the drainage engineer. He's working on drainage and welding as well. So those two, really appreciate them coming back to work on some of these things that needed to still be done here. So very good. Flora still has her plants. So again, drainage going out that way, and of course this will all be buried. Oh, didn't even notice also the painting. Looks like they started the underpainting here. Now I know some of the that scaffolding was where the painter was holding on when the earthquake happened. And up here by the master bedroom, just starting some painting right there. Let's see what else is happening back here. All right, so they did do some painting up here on the lanai to finish it off, the gray portion right there. Hopefully he finishes this gray over here. I don't know if he's coming this way or going this way. So he did that over there. And yes, the overhangs, the canopies are painted gray, so that's good. If you notice here on our lanai, if we do have workers that stay during the week, so instead of, again, the shed that was out there, they do have the beds here that they put on the lanai, and that's where they're staying. So again, trying to get everything completed and done. We do have looks like a caribou. If you look over there, there's a caribou right there eating the grass next door. So that's always interesting to see early in the morning. All right, so with our updates, we are still finishing the wall. So that's good. We've got the wall going up, being rendered. Pretty soon we'll be putting in the horizontal bars above the wall. Oh, we also got some, we're going to put on top of the wall some razor wire. So that's what we're using. It's not barbed wire so much, but it's like barbed wire, razor wire. So that's good. And we're going to be putting that along the top of the wall right here. So all around our wall we'll have the razor wire. And that's what we'll be doing with the wall. We also need to, once the wall is rendered and then we got the razor wire on it, we're going to have to decide if we want to paint it too, because again, everything is a separate charge, or you need a new person to come in to do it. So it's one thing to render the concrete walls. Once it's rendered, you know, you have to paint the concrete walls, and so that would be another project. But we just want to get the walls done, put the razor wire up so that we're secured. I mean, and that's even, we haven't even painted the gate, so we have to paint the gate. So the bars need to go up in front, the razor wire needs to go around the walls, the painting of the house needs to be finished, the drainage system, of course, needs to be complete, and we also need, let's see here, what else needs to be completed on the outside? Oh, of course, our staircase. So let me go back over to the staircase where I was pointing out those, I was actually pointing out the welds on the staircase. And like I said, our drainage engineer and our electrical engineer was actually doing the welding for that. So they did add to the staircase. So they are taking the place of our welder right now. I don't know if the main welder will come back. We're hoping that he will, because he was doing a really good job. He had good foresight on how he wanted to do the staircase. So let's take a look here at that again. Oh, plus we still need to do concreting and leveling of the yard. That's another thing. So we just need to keep the leveling process going, and the wall process and the staircase process. So with the staircase, if you see here, they did add the bars to the side. So they do have, now they had, if you go back to last week's video, you'll just see the vertical bars that was added. But now we got the horizontal bars going all the way up. And So, and they're up here on this side as well. So we do have bars on both sides of the staircase right now, which isn't too bad. Definitely feels a little bit more stable coming up these stairs, which is nice. But we still don't have a floor base right there. See how it's built into the concrete right there? So it is built in, and then they just got to replaster and rebuild this whole port back in, and then we should be good. Again, caribou is out there like there. All right. All right. So that is the staircase. All right, I want to thank you again for joining week number 89 of the Philippine house build. You know, it's been a long 89 weeks. Again, we moved into the house between week 77 and 78, so that is complete. Now it's just finishing up our walls, getting our land leveled, getting our drainage system put in, getting our wall with the horizontal bars and the razor wire put up for security measures, and painting of the house. So again, week by week, we'll get a little bit done. Well, thank you again for joining Arizona Trails to Philippine Tales. My name is Steve, and you have a great day. Bye-bye.